Coming up on Catholic in America.
There is no magic age to step out and make a difference in our community and in our world. Use the talents that you're talking about, that we've been given by our Creator, and put those talents to use to make the world a better place.
One of the greatest things that I love about being Catholic is just the connectedness of the community.
This is the fullness of the gift that God wishes us to know and to experience.
I would like other people to receive that same joy and freedom.
You know, when you love people, you want the very best for them.
We are invited to join Christ on his journey. Our journey of faith is with him.
Hi, I'm Father Tony.
I'm Father Patrick Gallagher.
Father David Shoemaker.
Father Dennis Berry.
And you're watching Catholic in America.
Hello, I'm Father Pete Zalewski, and welcome to Catholic in America. Today we're going to be talking about the spiritual component of leadership, and to help us out, our Commissioner Adam Putnam.
Thank you.
And Father Michael Nixon.
Father Pete.
Thank you both for being here.
You bet.
Commissioner, you've been involved with elected politics for over 20 years now, and you've heard all the arguments for and against that Roe versus Wade decision. So what spiritual principle informs your opinions and your thoughts and your feelings on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I did start off pretty young. I wasn't married, didn't have any children when I first was elected to office in the legislature, and my value set had been formed as a child through the example my parents set and from my church experience as a lifelong Episcopalian. And I was steadfastly pro-life then. I am even more so now, having had the benefit of being present at the birth of my 4 children, having been there for the first ultrasound, knowing the joy that even teenagers bring in your life.
Yeah.
And so as I've seen this debate evolve and technology change and people, a culture shift, I'm actually inspired at the rising number of young people who are now pro-life.
That's right. It really is the trend.
It is. It's extraordinary. And so while we're quick to blame technology for a lot of things, in this example, I think that it has truly illuminated the subject of that divine spark and when life begins, and that it is a gift from God, and He is the creator of all things seen and unseen. And that that gives me great faith and hope about the pro-life movement.
Yeah. The experience of people is if an ultrasound will be seen by the mother or the father or both, if they were thinking of ending that child's life, that is a turning point in that process. They see that child. It's not unseen. It's like it's there. It's just not seen. Right. He or she isn't seen yet, but they're there now. And
that image is much more vivid than it was even a decade ago.
That's right.
So it did, again, an example of that turning point. This is what is at stake in this decision.
Yeah.
I think it's a great example of just the consistency that we all want to have. We all want to be men and women of integrity. That consistency, though, between the spiritual values and those human values that we can, as human beings, we want that every person, deserves the right to live, to flourish, to thrive, and then spiritually too, it deepens that and takes it, that God's telling us in His Word and what He's shown us that we have this infinite value, this infinite that He has this infinite love for us. And for me, so it becomes this consistency where we see the value of the person just in and through our humanity, but as we hear what God says about us, we learn even to appreciate and uphold the dignity of each and every human life from every moment, from the earliest moments of conception all the way to the moment of natural death, that person has an infinite value and worth. And I love that, to be able to see the consistency.
Take care of even those little brothers and sisters. Father Michael, so you would counsel, clearly, ministers do this, and probably we've all had friends or family that this issue may come up, but you counsel a lot of people who are right on the cusp of really fostering a new life into the world, but they may be afraid of doing it. It may be a young man, and there's an unexpected pregnancy he caused or was involved with, a young lady also. What spiritual principle has helped you to lead people out of maybe confusion or darkness about that? What are some of the ideas that have really helped people to see clearly what they're dealing with?
Absolutely. I think one of the strongest things that needs to be heard and felt is that people aren't alone, because that's really always the temptation in a time of crisis, in a time of when you're reacting out of fear. Again, it's not good discernment to make a decision out of that fear, but to recognize that you're not alone, that you're loved, because all the fears mount up, and and they can be overwhelming when you're looking at all the worst case scenarios. But to be able to let that person know that they're loved, they're cared for, that you're going to be walking with them, because then a lot of those fears, once they're brought to the light, they get diminished. There's still serious decisions that need to happen, and serious problems or troubles that need to be addressed. But if you know you're not alone, then you're able to do the right thing. Because I think a lot of people, they want to do the right thing, but fear is what's keeping them from doing the right thing. So they know that we as a church, as a society, as a culture, that we are loving them, whether it's a young couple, whether it's an older couple with a unexpected pregnancy or a pregnancy with lots of complications. To know that we're going to walk with them and love them goes a long way towards helping them to make the right decisions, to be able to choose life.
I have this question for both of you. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, you're gone. How do you want people to remember you when they describe why you chose a life of service?
Well, that's a tough one. I felt called at an early age, and I was reminded often of Paul's letter to Timothy, "Let no man hold thy youth against thee, but be thee an example." And I believe that there is a place for everyone to be involved. There's no magic age.
Right.
And so we should instill in our young people the confidence that when you hear that voice, to respond, whatever it may be. It's not just to run for public office. I'm not saying that, but God uses us in all kinds of ways.
Right, to see a need.
Asks us to do lots of things, and there are needs all around us. And we see this often with young people who hear the call, and then there may be somebody saying, "Wait your turn. Mm-hmm. You're not ready yet." Just, patting them on the head in a patronizing sort of way. And I would hope that to your question, I would hope that the lesson is answer the call. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, whenever in your life it comes, answer the call.
I like that. Like Jeremiah,
That's
like
right.
St. Stephen. Yeah. Father Michael, you're gone, and people are saying, okay, here's what he exhibited as a leader.
I think that I am where I am because people saw gifts in me and called those gifts out, that God's given every single person gifts that he hasn't given to other people. And so for people in my life to be able to invite me to step out in maybe some scary ways and maybe be out in front of people, and but to be able to do that and then see more and more of those gifts be activated, I would hope that by my leadership as a pastor, as a priest, as a friend, as a disciple, and hope is that other people would recognize their own gifts and other people would feel empowered to be able to begin to use those. Because when we have more and more people doing that, that's where we have change. That's where we have an impact. If it's just a leader that's just out in front and everyone's like, that guy's great, but I could never do that, or doesn't feel that what he or she is doing as a leader is empowering them, then it really is. It's a very small difference. But I would hope that anything that I do as a leader is helping other people to also recognize what God has given them and to be able to put that into practice.
So, what thought would you like to leave our audience with?
I think the most important thing, it's been a real pleasure sitting with you, Commissioner Putnam, and with you, Father Pete, but is to recognize that all of us have gifts, and that to make the change that we want to see in the world, we know there's so many problems, we know there's so much darkness in the world, but to bring that light, it involves us who have been touched by God's love and his grace by stepping out and choosing to make a difference, and choosing sometimes to make ourselves uncomfortable by being in a position of leadership, even if it's only over a small group, but to say, this is the way that I think that we're called to go. And when more and more people do that, I think we're going to see more and more of a difference in the world.
There's no magic age in life to make an impact, and to listen to that calling in a small way or in a big way, to step out, as you were saying, and use those gifts, use those talents that we've been giving to make our world a better place.
Commissioner Putnam, Father Michael, thank you for both being here and sharing these really important ideas. And thank you for joining our program today. And I hope that you've also been inspired with some really good ideas and some motivation to get out and lead. When you see a need, fill it. When you see a spiritual need, pray for that person and share the faith. If you have any questions about spirituality or about getting in touch with a local church, we have a great 1-800 number. It's 1-800-258-JESUS, 1-800-258-JESUS. We'll get you in touch with a local church or local parish or any help or answers to questions that you may have. Thanks for watching Catholic in America.